What's up, me? What's up, Carrie? Thanks for all the comments. Appreciate it. And what's up to the other folks? It's my fourth sober Saturday, and I just cut straight to the interview. Went in there. Long story short, I fucking killed it, man. Like, it was a young dude who I'm usually intimidated by because I have a hard time getting hired by that demographic. But I admitted that I got fired from a job from not being good enough, and like to him, that just made me fucking as pure as the driven snow. Like, I won him over so hardcore. You know, he's like, man, I just appreciate your honesty, man. That's one thing I look for in these interviews, is someone to be honest, man. And like, so we just had this instant rapport. And he showed me all around what I'm gonna be doing, which is, I don't want to get too excited about though, because like the video says, excited and deflated at the same time. Because right at the end, he was like, we'll get in touch with you, you know, as long as you pass the background check, everything will be good. So I'm just like, okay. So obviously I'm paranoid about that because I was on felony probation for 2 years, got off in 2024, and you know, I had deferred adjudication, which means, you know, if I behaved on probation, you know, it wouldn't be a conviction. But for background checks, you know, I did some research, a little Reddit research, a little Google research, and you know, deferred adjudication still shows up on a background check. So I don't know how strict HEB is. I imagine they are strict. So I could celebrate, like, technically I did get hired, man. I knocked it out the park, man. They were totally impressed by me, like damn near infatuated by me. So like, that's a victory already, you know. In case I don't get the job, you know, I can go to my next interview without being so nervous. But I might not get the job. I might not pass the background check. You know, I don't have any theft or violence on my record, so that's very good for me. You know, I would almost certainly have no hope if that was the case. But you know, still HEB, man. Like, this a respectable company, you know. So I don't know how strict they are, man. So like, super proud of myself, man. Technically, I did get hired, but like, I might not get hired. I won't know for a couple days. And so for anyone who knows about combat sports, sometimes you can win or lose a split decision, where it's like you have 3 judges, and say 2 judges think the other guy won the fight, and 1 judge thought you won the fight. So if I don't get the job, it'd be like I lost a split decision. Like, well, you know, the people who interviewed me think I won the fight, but the background check thinks I lost the fight, and the background check's opinion matters more than theirs. So it'd be like losing a split decision. And another thing about split decisions is, when you know, when you're waiting to get your hand raised, they're like, Judge so-and-so scores it 30-27 for so-and-so. And then the next one's like, Judge so-and-so scores it 29-28 for the other so-and-so. And so you're waiting for him to read off what the third judge says, right? And Judge so-and-so scores it 29-28 for... And there's that moment of tension that they foster to make it more dramatic. And like, that's exactly how I'm gonna feel for the next 2 days. Just that moment when you're waiting for Bruce Buffer to call off who won the split decision. So like, I can't celebrate all the way. Like, I can be proud of myself, but I can't celebrate. I can't like start thinking about what I'm gonna fucking do with the money I'm gonna be earning, or like, you know, because I got all kinds of plans, especially if I do get the job. There's plenty of money, 40 hours a week. Like, I'm gonna be killing it, man. Like, I'm gonna be able to do a lot of things that I want to do, but I can't let myself have it, man. I can't let myself have that thought, because this happened to me before, where I thought I was a shoo-in for a job, and then like something happened and I didn't get it, even though I'd already done all the fantasizing about my budget and what I'm gonna do with all this money. Like, I don't want to go through that again. I can't go through it again. Like, I'm literally incapable of allowing myself to go through, even if I wanted to, just for fun. Like, oh well, let's just pretend I'm getting the job anyway, even if I don't. Like, I can't even do that. Like, I tried, I can't do it. So the next few days, I'm just you know, reserved optimism. You know, I guess I'm still doing what I'm doing in the meantime. You know, I'm still proud of myself for doing the job interview, and you know, killing it, like, for sure. Like, you know, God's grace is just slapping me in the face every day. Like, it's just never ending, bro. Just stop drinking that demon juice. I did all this research about background checks and HEB, like, And I could not find any definitive answer about whether or not I'm going to get hired or not. There was no one like, yeah, of course you're still going to get hired. Don't worry about it. Like, there was nothing like that on Reddit or Google. It was like, some people were like, oh, I still got the job. And then other people were like, nah, you ain't going to get the job. So I even looked up how much it would cost to get my record expunged, and it be anywhere from like $500 to $2,500. So if I don't get the job, I might just have to look for felony-friendly jobs, honestly. And, it won't be the end of the world. God's will. I've been saying that. God's will, I know it's like a cliche for like people in recovery to say God's will. So that automatically makes me feel skeptical, like saying that, like I'm lying to myself or something. But like, yeah, I gotta let God take over for sure, because that's how I'm gonna keep the vodka out of my body and out of my brain, which is more important than this job is, And of course, I still have this paycheck on the way from the sale of the property. So I mean, it's not like I'm financially worried, So like, I have so much to be grateful for, I was so grateful. I put in one job application, got the interview, fucking killed the interview. So that's like a victory. So I'll keep that in mind if I don't get the job. But just for these next few days, I am incapable of celebrating. I just can't do it. I physically can't do it. I mentally can't do it. So yeah. Other than that, it's been an old day. Decided, especially if I do get this job, it's overnight shift, so I will not be going back to these meetings that I've been going to regardless, even if nothing had happened with the crazy chick. Just because of the timing of it, I'd be going to the morning meeting. So I'm thinking, like, I'm just going to do that anyway, just to avoid her, and low-key to try to, make her feel stupid, because I'm still petty and vindictive a little bit like that, because, I'm not perfect. And I'll be like, yeah, that's right, bitch, you ain't ever gonna see me again, how about that? But no, seriously, I mean, if I get this job, I wouldn't be going to that meeting anyway, because I'd be asleep, or I'd be just waking up, get ready for work. So pray for me, pray I get this job. I mean, pray for God's will. Like, still, I want God's will for me. It's more important, but I can't help but hope that God's will aligns with my want for this job. I've always wanted to work at H-E-B. I love grocery stores, and that's like, the grocery store man's grocery store. Like, I just love it, man. It's such a great. And then I'll be working in like, the section where I can end up working in the meat market, which would be the highest paying section. Oh, the store, of course, is the highest paying because people get their fingers cut off and shit like that. But, y'all know how much I love meat, man. You saw my video yesterday. My freezer's full of meat, bro. Like, I would imagine I could finagle some shit if I worked in there. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. So, something I did today that I've been thinking about for a couple of days. So last week, Brian Koberger, who murdered Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie in Idaho in 2022, his sister came out publicly for the first time last week. She did an interview with the New York Times, which I found very interesting. I'm glad she came out, just as someone who's interested in crime and learning as much as I can. Of course, I would want to know what's going on with them. And she mentioned that her mom keeps a calendar of the birthdays of murder victims. And like, this is something she did before the murders, if I remember the interview correctly. I was like, man, that's a good idea, honestly. Like, that's exactly like something I would want to do, man. Because that's part of why I'm into, love true crime. When you're into true crime, it's kind of weird to say the words, I love true crime. I was like, actually, I hate true crime, but I'm compelled by it. I love justice. That's why I'm a justice enthusiast. So I was like, man, that's a good idea. So I added to my calendar today, of course, Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Kaylin Gonsalves, and, Madison Mogan. And then one of the very first cases that totally blew my mind and crushed my soul and my heart was the yogurt shop murders in Austin, 1991. And so I looked that one up to get their birthdays, and I didn't know this, but they found out who the killer was in September 2025. I didn't know this. Of course, September I was extremely high on meth, and my dad had died, and that's not a coincidence that both of those happened at the same time. I had to power smoke my way through that one, and it was still traumatic and depressing as fuck, man. Even today I almost cried just thinking about him, just because of some of the stuff he said when he was like right about to go, man. It's just the most crushing, depressing shit ever, man. But he's free now, so it's all good. But still, like, so I looked them up. So now I have 8 birthdays on my calendar, and so like when their birthdays come up, I might make separate videos. I have to make separate videos. I can't involve them in my little videos, but you know, because I think that's like something I could do to contribute. You know, it's not about bringing attention to myself or whatever. You know, just to every year, you know, I make a video. Then I'll make videos for the anniversaries of the murders because that matters too. You know, because you know we live in a world where everybody is like more aware of like true crime, and you know, having empathy for the victims. Overall, in the long run, it's going to lead to less crime. You know, or like, you know, even if potential criminals get into true crimes, they're going to start realizing like if they commit a murder, they're certainly going to get caught. I mean, we got this dentist murder. Dennis and his wife were murdered last week, and turns out today the woman's ex-husband murdered them. They got divorced in 2017. He shows up 9 years later, murders them, and he was busted because everyone has surveillance on their houses. You know, they easily just tracked him down through surveillance cameras until he got in his car. They found the car, found out it was him. Boom, case closed. You know, he's going to prison for the rest of his life because he can't get over a female. Because that's the ultimate simp, the ultimate putting a pussy on the pedestal, that you're gonna kill it. Especially 8 years later, like not even, you know, out of insane rage on the spot, which is still horrible, but way more understandable. You're gonna wait 8 years and still be butthurt enough to kill 2 people? You're a fucking pathetic piece of shit. You're a simp. Put pussy on a pedestal. If you're a real man, you would just moved on to the next chick, because they're everywhere. There's endless pussy everywhere. Just same for women, endless dick everywhere. Like, everybody should be able to move on. So, you know, if true crime becomes a bigger part of society, potential criminals are going to be like, well, hey, I want to kill this guy, but I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison. And if I kill this guy, it's almost certain, or more like if I kill this woman, you know, if I kill this girl, because that's what all these pussies like to do, is kill women. You know, they're going to know, like, they're going to go to prison for the rest of their lives. And that's going to be a deterrent. I'm sorry. I mean, it's not ever going to end crime completely, of course. That's absurd. That would never happen. That would never be an end to crime, for sure. But and that's another reason to get into it. So, you know, I can be a part of the fight, you know, on the right side, put these suckers... you know, I work for the prosecutor side or the defense side. I mean, they're both equally legit. So, you know, either side, you know, whichever one I tend towards more. But, man, if I get this job, dude, there's so much, it'll be enough money. I cover my rent easily, even not even thinking about the payment I'm going to get from the sale of the property. But, you know, what they're going to be paying me starting off in 40 hours a week, I'll be so straight, man. I'll be set better than I've been set since, I mean, it's like I was in the army, bro. Like, so, anyone watching this, pray for me, man. Pray for this background check to be okay. Thankfully, it's 2026 now. Like, they're not as strict as they used to be like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It's way more relaxed now. It's just a drug possession charge, felony. It's not like I beat the shit out of my wife, or I stole, you know, $8,000 from my job, or, you know, something like that. So, yeah, I guess that's about all I got, man. Check out these rams right here. That's the female one. The one behind, got some big old nuts. All right, man. Appreciate it, y'all. Talk to me later.